Hi, I'm Jason Lange. This is Eric Dunn. We're the founders of BloomBoard. Teacher professional development is fundamentally broken. And yet we spend $13 billion every year in this incredibly inefficient system. And we think that there's a better way. This is Miss Dowdy. She was my high school English teacher, by far the most amazing teacher I've ever had. And yet when she was starting out, I'm going to have to apologize for this picture, but when she was starting out, she really struggled as a teacher, right? Because without really good support from her school or from her district, she'd have to walk down the hall and try to find, even just minutes at a time, peeking into other teachers' classrooms to see examples of great practice in the areas where she was struggling. And that nowadays, nothing's really changed, and it's been 30 years, right? Except nowadays, districts can actually publish their teachers' struggles on the front page of the newspaper. And that this leads to even more demoralization of a profession that's already really hard. And so we're really excited to announce the BloomBoard Marketplace, where finally teachers can find individualized support to all of their struggles and all their needs in a very single focused place where they can find video libraries from an entire marketplace of professional development providers. So let's see what it looks like for Miss Dowdy. So she logs in, she can sign into the system, enters her email address and her password. And then the first thing she sees is really her personal learning plan. Obviously it's a little bare right now, so let's add a goal to it. So you can just click a goal here. And now right at the top, she first sees some reflection for where she can add in some areas for strength and some areas for growth. So she knows she's really strong at lesson planning. She writes in that she really likes this, and her principal actually can see this as well, or her coach. But she knows she's really struggling with how to try and get really high-quality student engagement. And that's something that she really just is really trying to figure out what else can she do in her classroom. And one of the nice things is as the other part of our business, we actually give away free, federally mandated teacher observation software, so that she can actually access her teacher observation results. And so 41 states now have observation processes where they have to collect this data. So we give all those tools away for free so that she can actually see and have ready-time access to this data, where she can see, oh, I'm really struggling with questioning, right? Let me actually add this. Let me click the plus sign over here, and I can add this to a goal that I'm working on. And now within that goal, she can write out and say, I really want to use better wait time to try and encourage participation with my students. So now as she types out that goal, she's able to actually now access directly into the details for it. Right. Here we go. And that this not only gives her a quick overview of the goal that she's working on, but she can also have a conversation about how is it a SMART goal, kind of some really high quality performance management type of conversations with her principal, a little bit kind of like SuccessFactors does in the corporate environment. But now what's really exciting is for the first time, right, we just launched this yesterday. For the first time, she can actually now see individualized recommendations from an entire marketplace of professional development providers, whether that's video libraries or workshops or resources, Word docs, book chapters, all the various resources that could support her on this goal, she can individualize. And so in this case, she really thinks that watching videos may help. So she clicks the Browse Video link, and we then plug her directly into the marketplace, but now we individualize the recommendations based on her actual goal, the standard that it's aligned to, and then all the recommendations of other teachers, the reviews and recommendations, kind of like the way Amazon does for any of your content or for any of your purchasing. But now we can aggregate all of those, and one of the things we'll launch in the next couple weeks here is what are those ratings and reviews, what are the actual data that's coming into the system that says what's the highest quality resources available. And so she can see all resources if she wants, not just video, right? In this case, we actually know that she really wants to focus on a video, so we can look, let's click into the video tab, and now we see a Doug Lamar video here around wait time, which is really specific to what she's working on. So she clicks in and sees that. And now she can see a quick overview of the video, how it's aligned. Relatively soon here, we'll actually be able to show other teachers in her district and her school that are working on the same video, so she can actually collaborate around it. And she can see reflection questions, the things that actually can prime her about what she wants to work on and how she should think about this clip. So she decides that this is a great video. Now she clicks Add to My Goal. She can add it to the goal she just created. And then she can go right back to that goal page and see that she's actually now created a playlist item for herself, for her own development, that's completely individualized to her. And she can click into that video itself and actually play it. And not only can she see the video, but when she clicks the Watch Now button, we allow the PD providers to actually annotate in time-stamped commentary specific examples of what they want to highlight in that evidence of practice. And so as this video plays, and as you can hear the sound, right, we can actually have closed caption timestamping to call out really what would a coach, if she were sitting in the back of this classroom, or she was poking in, what would a coach be telling her about things that she wanted to watch? And then she can click on that, it'll rewind, so she can continue to look at specific moments in time to highlight great practice. And then finally, this ensures that if she can really get this type of support, next time her district wants to publish anything about her, they can actually just celebrate her success because she's been so amazing, and that's what they'll actually put on the front page of the newspaper. We've been at this for a little over a year now. Certainly learned a lot. I think the two biggest lessons that we've learned, one is that compliance rules. Right? The education system, especially in K-12, if you're dealing with schools, is really, really hard because you can't sell directly to districts. And that regardless of how much people really want to have student achievement and student outcomes at the heart of what they're doing, the reality is that there are just a ton of checklists and a ton of handcuffs that bind what they can actually do. And so we actually give away this entirely comprehensive, fully customizable suite of observation tools. We give it away for free to districts and states so that they can do their federally mandated compliance. And so what that means is we just signed a contract a couple of weeks ago with the state of Colorado, with the state of Colorado Department of Education, so that we'll do teacher and principal evaluations in their statewide pilot coming up, and then roll out for the statewide adoption coming up in 2 years from now. And that means that we can now create a distribution channel directly to every teacher and every principal in Colorado. Oh, sorry. The second lesson is really you just have to follow the money. And that really understanding how can you give away software that allows people to do the compliance things that matter, but also lets them spend their budget appropriately. And we know districts have PD budget, and they don't really have. So, thanks.
Got to keep the train moving. Okay, feedback.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks great, but the question I have is, obviously, a teacher has to work on something. It's not like one goal. It's probably a subset of subsets that they need to work on. All that have, I mean, this is like project management software. I mean, all these things have.
Sure, I mean, it's definitely performance managed software. I mean, I think when you look at the really high quality induction programs and you look at really high quality teacher training programs, what they show is that the more you can chunk out individualized specific goals that teachers can work on and navigate them through that path, that's the best way to keep them and retain them and actually work them through.
So are you recording all the data behind all the goals that are set up and what tools that were used so that you can just replicate that for another teacher? So, okay. All right, that's good.
I'm glad you're addressing this space because the world always needs greater teachers. I think the challenge with creating HR software is one where simplicity matters, right? Your demo took 10 minutes, and I have to be honest, I don't understand half the features that are sort of implicit that you're trying to help teachers improve. Yep. And I see a lot of work on state mandated checklists and other things. So I think if the goal is to help improve teacher performance, it's unclear to me how you would do that with the software. I mean, you can check off a bunch of goals or write down things that I want to do. What's your thought on how you would simplify this? That's sort of massively important to create something that teachers can understand. They're busy.
Yeah, and why is it so? Why does it feel so complex? Is it because of?
I mean, a lot of
some
it's just
state
around,
rules.
It's because of the state rules, right? So 41 states now have legislation that varies across those 41 states, and that being able to try and manage for the flexibility that is required there, and still break down the teaching profession in a way that's really kind of more skills-based. That there's just a lot of complexities, as we talked about. That there's just a lot of nuance there.
So I think that's something to think about is, are you building a product for the state or are you building a product to help teachers succeed? And, sometimes that might be a mutually exclusive set and one that may wind up confusing folks who are using it than helping. So something for you to think about as you're building this product.
And you might be able to make an interface that is different than the one you have here. That's an additional interface that is just, I want to get better, and then it just suggests something to you, and you just say thumbs up, thumbs down, and move to the next one. Thumbs up, thumbs down, move to the next one, and then it does sort of adaptive learning of I really don't need to worry about Q&A. I really need to worry about better presentations, and it just sort of steers you naturally in that way. This didn't seem very simple. It seems very complex. Joe, what do you think?
So I'll say, full disclosure, I love the BloomBoard product. The basic one that he talks about is incredibly simplistic to use. And I think what you guys have really solved is that professional development at most institutions is done sort of at a district level. Teachers don't get to choose what they get. It's sort of delivered one day in August, maybe one day in June. If you're lucky, you get something, and it's rarely what you need. And so this gives it an opportunity to really target that. And so it's actually a huge need. What I don't quite know from looking at this is who pays for it and how do the teacher get to choose? Do they get to just pick anything they want anytime they want? And how's that work?
We've actually had a lot of requests from principals and districts to actually give credits in the account, so we can give every teacher. Districts spend $1,000 to $4,000 per teacher on this, and so if we can give a teacher $100 of credit in the system, where they can purchase their own things, then we can actually just charge back this school or the district, on a monthly or a quarterly basis.
Do you charge per lesson? Is that the idea? Each of those videos is $100 or $1,000?
But you can charge per lesson or per bundle of content for it.
And who makes that content? You just license that from people, is that right?
Yeah, there's thousands of PD providers, contracted third parties.
And you said $4,000 or $5,000, and you said $100. What do those numbers refer to? Is it $5,000 per teacher per year, or $100 per teacher per year?
No, so even just if we can give $100 of credit or $1,000.
Right, so what does it cost for each teacher in a school district with 1,000 teachers to put their teachers through this?
Typically, it's about $1,000 to $4,000 per year that they spend on professional development.
Per year, per teacher?
Per teacher.
So 1,000 teachers would cost $1 to $4 million in professional development for the year. Wow. I didn't realize it was that much money.
It's a sneaky little space.
And it's not all that useful for a lot
Yeah.
of time. That's the reality for what teachers actually want.
And what do? They normally get sent to like a seminar or something? Is that how it works?
One size fits all conference, right, or a workshop that they just. I've been to conferences for math or for workshops for math training where it's where it's a biology teacher sitting there kind of playing Sudoku the whole time. It costs their district $1,000 to send them there.
Wow, that's pathetic. Sandeep, what did you think of it?
Well, I just, you remember at the other conference you had that 15.5 company?
Yeah, which we've been using at Mahalo,
yeah,
and it's been
exactly,
incredible.
and we're just adopting it as well. But, just to your point, one thing I always hear, to Wesley's point, is their model is real simple. You can get through it fast, maybe something you want to look at for their UI. And secondly, you always hear this notion of like teachers don't have enough time. My sister-in-law is a teacher, and so I think, again, I like that 15-5 model where it's like you only have to spend 5 minutes and your boss.
Yeah, 15 minutes filling it out, 5 minutes reviewing
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
we should talk afterwards. It's been incredible what we've learned from it. Any more feedback? Okay, let's hear it for BloomBoard.
Thank you.